So now that we have prepared ourselves for actually using the REST API and actually start creating product, we just saw that working in Postman. Let's try and do it now from Angular. So let's try and see how we can actually use the same code when we create a new product inside the Angular code base. So let's jump back into our add component right here. Again, if I jump into the code, you'll see the add component. That's the view we have right here. The plus sign will go into add component or add product, sorry. And here we can again pick name, we can choose a file, and we can say add. So what's going to happen is we're going to hit the add product right here again from the HTML. When I click the submit button, I'm going to hit that add product, and that's going to actually go in here and try to add a product. Now what it does right now is it redirects me to the add product with image right here, but it also gets me some metadata from the component. Now we're missing something in this metadata, so I have to fix that before we actually start moving into the service. What we're missing is actually the base64 encoded image is not available right now in the metadata. I just forgot it. So let's jump back to our component and scroll down to the add metadata, get metadata from image right here. And you'll notice right here that I only get the image blob, I don't get the image meta. So let's just make image base64 image right here, and we'll say this dot cropped image. That's the base64 image. So now we have that available whenever we create the metadata. Perfect stuff. So now with this metadata, we can actually go into our product service and say, how do we want to add the image now? Well, first of all, we don't want to use Firebase anymore to upload this. We actually want to use an HTTP client to send a post request to the backend. So we have to get the HTTP client into our system. Right now we don't have that, so I'll jump into app module and I'll add the HTTP client module right here. HTTP client module. It's very important you remember to get that in there, or else you won't be able to do these HTTP requests. The next thing I need to do is go into my service, the product service, and dependency inject that HTTP client so I can start doing some requests using HTTP. So there we go, HTTP client like this. There we go, we'll grab that from the common HTTP in Angular. And now we actually are able to start doing the same request that I just showed you guys from Postman. So let's jump down to our code where we want to do this request and just comment out the old code. So this is where we want to add the product image right here. And instead of doing the old setup right here where we kind of had to do a few things, first we had to use the upload image, we would get a reply, then we would actually send the add product right here. We don't want to do that anymore. We actually just want to do a single request that pretty much just sends all the data in one request right away. So let's try and do it. So first of all, what do we need to kind of send this request? Let's figure that out first. We're going to jump into our actual Postman right here, and notice the first thing I need is the URL for where I want to kind of send this request, right? That makes sense. Where do you want to send it? So let's start there. I'll make it constant right here just with the URL or the endpoint URL. Now this is not supposed to be here. We'll move that later, but let's just keep it here for now. It should actually be placed somewhere where it's easy to kind of change it later on if I want to. So maybe inside the environment file or something like that. But right now we'll just keep it simple and just add it directly in here so you guys can see that this is the endpoint URL that I just kind of grabbed right here from Postman. Easy stuff. The next thing I need to figure out is what I actually want to send to Postman when I want to create a new product. Again, we're going to make it simple right here. We're going to just say const product to create or product to send, something like that. And it's going to be of the type any right now. And it's going to be equal just a basic object right here. Now we're just going to make this tape, we're not going to make the type safe right now. I just want to again show you guys how easy it is to actually use our REST API. So no type safety yet. Good, what do we need in this guy? Well, if I go back to Postman, the way that I've set it up right now, it seems that I'm going to need a name. Let's put that in there. And the name is going to be the name for the product, right? So it's just going to be product.name. There we go. What else do we need? If I go back to Postman, I also need an image, it seems, just an object. So let's just add something called image right here and just put that in there. Now we have the image available as well. What else do we need? Well, we need the base64 encoded image as a property called base64, base64, and we'll get that by saying image data dot base64 image. There we go. Now this guy was the one I just added over here in add component. If you guys don't know that, that was this guy I just added right here. I'm going to use him now to actually send him to the backend. Well, I also know that I need a type and a name and a size. So if we go back here and scroll all the way to the button in our data, I need a name, type, size. Those I need to add here as well. So let's add the name, and the name will come from image metadata, file metadata, dot name. That's where I'm getting the name. The type will again come from the same area, image metadata, file metadata, type. And the size, again from the same area, image metadata, file metadata size. So now I have all the information I need to actually create the request to the backend, the post request. But how do I actually do it? Well, using the HTTP client, I can actually go and I can say post right here to make a post request. So again, if we look, it needs to be a post request, right? And there I can send in the URL now, the endpoint. So let's just put that in here. And then I can send the object I want to send, the product to send, right? That's how easy it actually is. Now, what does this give me? This actually gives me an observable is returned right here. So I can subscribe, I can pipe, I can do all the stuff you're used to with observables. But it's actually even cooler than that. I can actually return the observable directly because that is what we expect to get back from my add product image. But right now it says, but you're not returning a product right here. You're returning anything. I don't know what it is. Now the cool thing is with the HTTP client, I can put in product right here. There we go. Now it knows it's going to get a product back and pass it automatically and send it. Look at how simple that code is now, right? Very, very simple. We could even minify it even more. With the full control of the backend, we could change what we actually pass in, and we could just send the product and the metadata in one big chunk instead of having to kind of convert it ourselves into the product to send. Sadly, we're not quite done yet because there's a few more things we have to fix. But this is actually enough from the product service point of view to get this up and running. So let's try and check out what else we need to do to kind of make this work. First of all, I'm not getting a product back right now. I'm actually getting back, if you go to the REST, product REST right here, I'm actually getting back a string right here. So you'll notice right here, in your code it probably says send right here, because what I want to send back is actually a string. Now that's not what I want to get back anymore. I just want to get the plain product as JSON. So what I'll do is, again, when I've kind of posted my product, created everything in the database and in the file storage, I want to just return the actual product that I end up with. That has the ID, it has the picture ID, it has everything I need to know about the product, and I want to return it as JSON. So that's pretty much all I had to do. Now I'll get a product back as JSON when everything is saved. Angular will get that product back right here in the service and return it right here. And then my add component will then just get that back when it actually does the add product right here, and it can then redirect itself. Okay, so it's that simple. Sweet. Let's try and actually put this live. So first of all, I of course need to deploy my functions. So the deploy is complete. Let's just try and see if we're actually getting back a JSON object now. So I'll just do a post here against my REST API. Hopefully it's still running and I'm getting back a plain JSON object right here with the product ID and the picture ID. There we go. We have a plain, so everything is still running. Let's try and do it from Angular now. And we will fail. We will fail. I might just tell you guys that right away. Let's try and jump into products right here. Let's try and add a new product. Let's make a snurf and choose a file. But there's something that we haven't kind of taken care of yet in the backend, and that's cross-site scripting. So what will happen here is we'll get bad stuff back right here. So it's an error, right? Because we have some CORS issues. Access allow origin is not working on Firebase right now. We'll fix that in the next lesson because it is a bit of, there's a lot of things we have to know about before we can solve this. So right now I'll just let you guys know that you'll fail with this setup for now. It doesn't have anything to do with Angular. It's actually the way that we handle things inside this code right here. But right now we are protecting ourselves, or Firebase is protecting us against requests from the outside of this server. So we need to kind of set up things that can kind of solve that in the next lesson. But all the code is ready for it. We can see that we have access. We can see we're getting back JSON. And we've set up the entire code base. Now we just need to fix this CORS issue. See you next time. Have fun.